We're going to call this meeting to order. We'll have a roll call first, please.
Elthon,
Here.
Nystrom,
Here.
Pritchard,
Here.
Teben,
Here.
Melhouse.
Here. Okay. Recognition of the visitors. Julie, do we have anything on this? Everyone? Okay. Next is consideration of agenda.
Maybe it's not a visitor thing. Do we want to just introduce John real quick?
You know, I think
Just so
we
that we
should
can say,
introduce our new
yeah,
person here.
yeah. So John Johnson, our new high school principal. For those of you that haven't had an opportunity to meet him, his first official board meeting. So welcome. John.
Welcome. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now consideration of agenda. Julie, are there any additions, subtractions, changes in the agenda?
No,
I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as printed. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Stevens, seconded by Dr. Nystrom, to approve the agenda as presented. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Next, we have hearing of delegations. Now, this is the time the board sets aside to hear from community members who would like to talk about anything that will be on the agenda tonight, or any concerns they have, or compliments about the district, or they want to sing a song or whatever. This is the time for them to speak. This side, this is all administration. So over here, you two are on the agenda. And I'm good, Brian. Elton? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to routine business. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the routine business consent?
I move to approve the routine business consent agenda.
Okay. I think there's a second.
We need to pull one, I'm pretty sure Bill out of there.
When I looked yesterday,
I believe I saw one in the athletic one. A couple?
didn't look yesterday. I'm sorry.
So your motion is to approve with,
Was pulling out any purchase bills.
okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it is moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as printed, with the exception of pulling out the purchase bill for 600, 752.95. Is there any questions about anything else on the consent agenda? Questions, concerns? Hearing no questions, all those in favor, please clarify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay, the motion passes. Now, is there another motion on the floor?
I would move to approve the picture driver's bill of $752.95.
Is there a second? Okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve the purchase bill of $752.95. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining.
Abstain.
The motion passes 4-0 with 1 abstention. Next is what everyone's here for, and that is the DLR presentation. And now with our new camera and computer system, where is it best for our speakers to sit? The hot chair right here.
Yep.
It's red.
You want to, there's a rolling table right behind that screen.
Once we get started with this presentation, someone who's online, please send Mitch a note to say if they can hear him or not. This is Eric Breon from our DLR architecture. So if someone online could just shoot us a message, I appreciate that. We are working with a new computer system for the online portion
Hey,
tonight,
Andrew,
so that's why we're
I'm
having
gonna
to
send
have.
you the Zoom so I can put it online.
Even if I hear your team.
It won't unless I put you on Zoom. Yeah. Okay, I sent it to you. And you should be able to stream. Yeah. You see it yet? Yeah. 850-3709-9633. Passcode? Lowercase p, uppercase P, uppercase K, 6, lower F, capital S. Yep. Yeah, yeah. 3127.
Go ahead, everybody. First of all, thank you for the time tonight. I look forward to present the schematic design deliverable. The larger page next to present, and we're going to walk through schematic design, which is kind of the first major milestone. We've gone through our pre-design and programming phase, and now we're going to do our schematic design. So what we're looking to establish here is the overall design intent, the overall scope of the project, and then move forward to the next stage of design development, which is further refinement of the intent of the scope here. And then the last phase of our design process is construction, which is the finer between detailing, coordination of engineers. So we're excited to present this night, and we'll just go through briefly our deliverable, and then talk budget schedule, and then move on to the next one.
You're going to share your screen with Zoom.
Oh,
There we go.
okay. Now good.
You're good.
All right, so one of the things that we've done with the committee thus far, we've had a lot of great visioning. We had several activities. We looked at the educator, the learner, and then the environment, how those should be impacted and should be impacted by various constraints or opportunities or goals that we have. We've met with several committee members, just some images here to work through and help define that scope and that scale of what we're planning to do. We went through a series of workshops and exercises that helped us get to the end of the vision process. It was a lot of fun. One of the things that we ended up coming to an agreement on was some guiding principles of design, which we hope that you'll see throughout the development of this schematic design deliverable. And those guiding principles are discovery and development, flexible, adaptable, and accessible spaces, spaces that focus on the health and wellness, naturalness, and active spaces, And then I really love the joy and the pride for students and staff so that they're feeling that welcome and happy place when they're So through the process, we've had our space program. This is looking at the various types, quantities, sizes of spaces. All right, so the space program helps identify those spaces, more of a spreadsheet format here. And we take that and we develop that space program into the design that we will look at here in just a minute. So one of the things that we worked with as a design team and talking with the facility stakeholder team was kind of developing an overall concept. And you'll see some of these ideas and themes woven into the design, the site, the building, the interior of that. And this one here was more focused around nature exploration. We leveraged the location of the Ledges State Park to use as a way to inspire materials, patterns, textures, forms within the environment. So this is what we call maybe a mood board to help inspire a team, to help showcase the creativity, the naturalness, the environment that they have within the spaces. And then furthermore, with some of the massing and the elements and the organization, we pulled inspiration from various, I think, memorable experiences at Ledges State Park. You can see some of the elevations of the exterior when you're inside the state park, some of those memorable experiences for kids and parents. And we wove that into a way to think about the building itself, how it's organized, using the kind of the spirit of exploration and discovery throughout the facility, providing various hubs of activity where there's focused learning, where there's shared learning, where there's imaginative learning. And we applied that to some of the building forms and massing after we worked some key adjacencies with the stakeholder. So this diagram here kind of helps illustrate how we help develop and define the envelope. So all that kind of builds up to where we're headed next with the site plan, floor plan, and then some exterior 3D views. So I'm going to bounce to the site plan. So to get oriented, the north is up on the site plan. The Hancock Drive ends right about here. And so that extension between the south and west of the property here. One of the things here, you'll see the early childhood center facility here is shown in white. Have developed several different layouts and configurations for the site, how it might look, how you approach the site, how site circulation works. And through kind of the collaborative discussions with them, we landed on this configuration at the end of SMAC time. So you see the main entry of the facility is facing Hancock Drive, so it's clear and identifiable for visitors, for parents as they come and go to this facility. And then the other key thing done here is we separated the parking and car drop-off line on this side. So site circulation for cars, vehicular access, and site circulation for a bus loop are separated. So you've got good, safe traffic movements there. And one of the things that was important for the team was having a shared drop-off. So we heard that there's really an advantage. They'll have students exiting through the buses, being able to be brought into the main entry here. And plenty of stacking, cleaning space on site brings the cars up to this point, but they can then exit safely and then enter the main entry. We do have a separate pre-K entry for any of those being dropped off. They can have direct access to that location within the school, which we'll see in some slides. Around the east, north, and west side, we do have an access drive around here. It serves as a fire department access that completely surrounds the building just for the accessibility of fire trucks and for life safety. And then further to the north, it was important for the design team and the stakeholder team to have a lot of the play areas, a lot of the classroom spaces you see in the moment have good views to the north, where we have the wooded north property line here. So the play areas are adjacent to common spaces where they can come and go in and out of these interior spaces to the outdoor play areas. So we're showing separate dedicated pre-K outdoor play area, a K1 playground, and then more of like a hard surface play where they have Foursquare, basketball, maybe Gaga ball, and then field play or general kickball, field soccer, those types of things would be surrounding as well. You'll see here we do have access for service, loading, receiving, and deliveries here. And then we'll see in a minute the gymnasium location here, which would have access to field play as well as some hard surface play. So when they want to move from inside to outside, they have that ability. And then generally we have just landscaping. We will work to continue to refine trees, locations, any additional features, thinking and maybe in the future there's ideas or opportunities for a trail or pathway throughout the site. Those are just future things that we want to think about at this point that could be considered down the road, but just things to continue to kind of fill out and provide educational opportunity for the students. To the south here, kind of in between these drives, we do have our stormwater detention. We're adding impervious surface to the site, so we're going to manage that through the stormwater detention system here. So that will help with any of the rainwater that's going to be at this site. So that will address those concerns. That sums it up here. We do have some opportunities for outdoor learning, outdoor classroom, outdoor dining opportunities, depending on how things develop in the future with the curriculum. Those opportunities are there, and they're close to classroom spaces in learning areas. Sure.
Will that cause any congestion with people trying to drop off people and trying to drive on by to drop off others?
Yep, that's a good question. So there is opportunity here for stacking. So there's a passing lane and a parking lane. We can also look at further development of maybe a pull-off or head-end parking. We'll want to work through that, just car flow and circulation for that. That's a really good point. We're kind of addressing that. Yep.
We had a neighbor here, and he can kind of tell, like we are last week, the distance from that tree line.
On the west property here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's approximately from here to the building. And we can see this in the 3D view too. It's approximately 300 to 400 feet of distance between the two. And depending on the site for the development, there's features, maybe there's a landscape berm that can help provide some just terrain and surface to there, depending on how the final grading cut and fill and site works out as well. But yeah, there's while it looks close, there is a significant distance between these two, and we can see that in the plot here as well. This next slide just kind of talks about the circulation. We can see the separate clear circulation for vehicles and then buses and access around the perimeter as well as entry points and exit points.
What point does Don, was it during Don? When does she get involved? Is it generic at this point, or is she reviewed this and getting her kind of ideas on the traffic and the stuff Pat was talking about?
Yep, so our civil engineer is involved. Right now, she's focusing on the grading package, but during the design, she's providing input on the site traffic flow. And while we're schematic here, she's going to continue to be involved in the grading and then refinement of that. So she will make sure, turn radiuses for fire department, bus turn radiuses, all that stuff will be addressed, making sure there's adequate distance for parking, all of that. Yep.
Is that all going to be concrete for the fire lane, or would that be gravel, or would that be asphalt? What would you put in?
Generally, what we see is concrete for that, just the crushed gravel and with the apparatus that we can coordinate with the fire department, but typically we're like about 20 feet wide. And what we want to do here, because that's ideally infrequent, is kind of leverage that space to be a part of the hard play area, but we would want to coordinate those turn radiuses and lengths of clothes and all that with the fire department.
They almost end up looking like sidewalks like that.
Yeah, just a wide area. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to jump to the floor plan. Now the building's going to rotate slightly. So it's a more diagonal on view. But north is a little bit at an angle here. So from the floor plan, what we have kind of color coded this by department. So our main entry, if you remember from the site plan, is right here. So the main entry comes in past the administration, which now views out to circulation, site circulation. And then visitors, parents, they're all taken through a safe and secure entry vestibule sequence, much like we have here at the high school. So come into one of two common spaces here, where students will have assemblies, dining, large group meetings, activities, kind of a multi-purpose room, if you will. And there are kind of two of those spaces, one here and one here, to help kind of distribute some of that opportunity among the larger school itself. You'll see three kind of wings here, if you will, 1, 2, and 3. Currently, those are organized kind of around grade levels. So we have our classroom spaces accounted for, and throughout this middle floor here is a lot of the shared learning environment. So things like small group rooms, which we heard is very important to have access to from the stakeholder team that we met with. Shared learning environments where they could do more collaborative, hands-on learning spaces directly adjacent to classrooms, as well as some of our specialized learning areas, such as like Title I, ELL spaces. Those are distributed, so they're not a separate area of the school. Those are easily accessible by students throughout the day. So these discovery areas and these shared learning environments, as well as some staff support rooms, workrooms, and planning centers for staff, are situated in this first throughout this environment. Then a little bit more in the centralized space, kind of a focal point of this path is the media center, a STEAM lab, and then an art room. So STEAM being science, technology, engineering, art, and math, has a lot of common synergies and themes with art and media center. So it's going to be a really nice focal point, a lot of activity and energy and creation in this space. There's a lot of visibility to that to put a lot of the student learning and student research, student projects on display for the rest of this school. Then a little bit to the south here to help frame that entry view as we came into the site. We have our access to our surgery, our kitchen, our main mechanical custodial maintenance spaces. We have our music space, and then we have our gymnasium space here on the southwest. So that kind of at a high level is the overall layout. We're one story, no ramp and stairs, so it's a flat floor. And each one of these commons areas, each one of these discovery areas, they do have visual access and this physical access out to outdoor environments, play areas, dining areas, whatever the curriculum wants to support. We can come back to it if you do.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to do the other pictures of that open area. With that white line that goes through it.
Yes. Yeah, we kind of going back to the overall kind of design concept here. I'm just thinking about the path for students and even the forms of the building, kind of this repetition, these grounded forms of educational happening here, these spilling through with light, energy, and openness and connectivity between these. You start to see some of that kind of articulated in the building maps and the forms. And then the student path, kind of like going down a path on ledges, you don't quite see around the corner, but it's a little bit of a path of discovery. So hopefully for the student's experience, it's very, it sparks curiosity, creativity, excitement throughout there. It's not seeming like, they see it all at once. Like when we ledges, we explore vistas and views. We hope the student experience can be enhanced by the configuration. So to, I think your point here with seeing this path through here, this is open. These are internal spaces, but there's daylight coming in from above to help enrich the interior environment, the quality of the space. We'll see in a little bit of a walkthrough here how that could look and feel. Yeah, it's open like this. Yeah, and there was any discussion, just kind of themes with the district of space and environments, and having environments like this here, having environments at the really Calvi Center could be a nice synergy and continuity throughout the district.
Go back to the outside.
Yep.
And I know you talked about that road, service road. For those of you who work at school, how many service vehicles go
it should be because of a fire, which is not a fire.
There's not somebody dropping off.
No, all of that is gonna be to the service on the side in which the children will not be able to pass except for the eventual, like that field is just an open field for play. And that park service would be an additional. one that we
So
can do later.
service will come in the other way.
Yeah, they're mainly gonna use
That's all I
those
wanted to
ones.
verify.
Back to that.
And one more question, I'm sure this again probably for you, is what you explained to us why the pre-K is in the middle.
A couple of reasons. So we have our preschool entry all the first time of the day.
Right.
And we have an AM and a PM, so we need them to be separate and we need them to be close to the entrance. Part of our preschool expectations is that parents drop off and meet with the teacher as part of that day, so we needed it close to the entrance. Also, their legs are like this big and they are like pretty wet hats, and so we don't want them to have to go far, we want them to stay close to the center area. You also see teachers there as well too, and their hours operate 7 a.m. to 5:30, and so we also need them centrally located so that we can monitor the entrance and exit.
Thank you, Betty.
Yeah.
To clarify.
Yeah.
Well, kids are gonna come into that, kids, we can go in, certain ones in the back out, area, you get that correct?
Yep.
That would same doors, will go in and out, that's the gymnasium.
Yep.
And will this kitchen be set up to prepare and serve, or will this just be a serve kitchen with the prep being done either at the middle school or the high school?
Be
Yeah,
on site,
full service, yeah. On site. So they,
just like Franklin.
Yeah.
What was the answer?
it'd be on site, so they would make it on site, they wouldn't be delivered.
Curious.
Yep.
That's a good question.
Lori King's been part of that conversation too.
I just have a few, just exterior still images of what this could look like. The first one's gonna be kind of taken from here with the entry. The second one will be a little bit back here, taking a little bit more of a longer shot. And then the third one is gonna be from the north, this is the play areas, this is the north side of the building. So we're at schematic design. We're starting to look at the building forms, materials, heights, volumes, and we're starting to figure and apply those to the building facade. I have a slide here a little bit later that talks about the materials. So one of the things you're seeing is the administration here at the front. You're seeing the storage here, and the scale of that could be lower to help kind of limit the height of the building as students approach. And then back behind that, the gymnasium pops up. One of the things we heard from the state of the communities having natural daylight in the gym was important. So having some windows in there and having that kind of step back a little bit from the entry approach here, help bring down the scale of the building for the young learners. In the distance, here you see the main entry, a covered entry, providing kind of a welcoming gesture, reaching out to the south here to Hancock. And then in the distance, you're seeing some of that atrium or that clerestory light like we have here that brings daylight into the building. While we're on I'm going to bounce to the material slide here. Some of the materials we're looking at and we're continuing to refine and work through this is some exterior metal panel up high, some type of masonry like a face brick material down low for the durability. And then using a couple different types of metal panels to add a splash of color and kind of delineate or clarify some key defining elements of the exterior. This here is a wood tone metal panel. So you don't have the maintenance, but you have the warmth and the look and the feel of wood, and it's up high. So kind of welcome you into that. We talked a lot about kind of the naturalness and using natural materials, color, and texture. So having that we thought made a lot of sense. And then of course clear windows to bring visibility and daylight into the environment. The other kind of from the approach, you see the car drop off coming around and looping in. You're seeing one of the classroom rooms here, a little bit shorter canopy, pre-K entry, not as much attention gone to that as it is through the main entry here. You see the gym in the distance. Here you're seeing a little bit more of that profile of the third story windows that brings daylight in. And now it's pulling cues from the ledges elevation where we had a heavy mason base. We had the organic cues above and kind of playing with that organic movement, straightening it out a little bit to provide a little bit of playfulness. This is a school for young learners who wanted to have some excitement and creativity and curiosity for all of the design to help kind of inspire that the students. And then on the northeast side, you're seeing here classrooms with a port from the staple community where they like to have views out to the north, views of that green area, and then you see the playground areas here. There'll be a K1, a separate pre-K, and then this and still be basketball courts and hard play areas. And what we're seeing in between here is some of these entries, these little alcoves that go into the commons area where students can come and go out to their play areas. Right inside those are hand wash stations, so kiddos can wash their hands before and after. So that is a little bit on the exterior. You can see a few more views when we go to the fly around. And then interior wise, we did a few just axonometric views to help illustrate how the spaces work. So classroom spaces, sharing some restroom spaces, and then have access out to shared learning environments, whether it's small huddle spaces or small group rooms or specialized learning areas. They have access to all of these at their fingertips, so they're not spending a lot of time traversing special or small group areas. That is all at their fingertips for the teachers to be able to use and leverage day in and day out. So this is just one of the three configurations we saw on plan. This middle one has the media center, STEAM lab located to provide a lot of visibility and activity to those. And then the one on the east is similar to the one on the west, with some of those specialized shared learning environments. And the view interior renderings, again, these are still in concept and development. We have, you'll see in the schedule illustrated again, there's a lot of future things just for further refinement of material, finishes, all that is to be determined, but we're starting somewhere, and this is kind of the first images we created for these interior spaces. So looking at one of the shared learning environments, you're seeing access to classroom spaces, small group spaces, huddle spaces. There's a lot of daylight coming in from above, from the third story. So that's one image of those shared learning environments. And then another one, each one of these, we're imagining each one of these pods, if you will, with different maybe color and texture and material to help with wayfinding, to help provide a different experience for students throughout their 3 years at this facility, but still providing some of the equity between the different sort of same type of environments, regardless of what grade level you're teaching. So with that, I'm going to go to a little bit of a fly through here. About 3 questions. Okay, center around the community. Okay. Number one, I know you said something you want to have windows, correct? That basketball court is going to be running east-west, and corner that's almost east-west, and our windows there are coming in off the east side. I'm kind of wondering if those windows don't need to be on the north and south sides, because otherwise, at certain times during the day, especially for things, games in there, something, we have a problem where it puts the windows over the bleachers on the south side or on the north side. You're not going to have that problem.
I think sometimes the material we use also can play a factor in making sure that it doesn't have that glare. We just visited Jim to add windows all the way around, and it was material that allowed for it not to have that glare. So I think we can find a way to still do that. But
I'm
Mitch
just
and I have
worried
been-
about
yeah.
that as a
Yeah.
concern, some of
Yeah.
that grant material can be expensive. Number one, confident will be extending that long term. Second question, I have is that, we've got gymnasium here, we are going to need to have, is that restroom set up, that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, so those are,
Yes.
I did not see that. Okay.
I have one question I just really a while ago, and I have to,
Mhm.
the Lions Club, they'll want to know if the reason start that make
Mhm.
Influence a lot of those interior rooms.
Are they? Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wasn't that
I did due diligence as well, yes.
There's
Yes.
there's never windows in mechanical rooms, those would be perfect.
That's right.
Hearing our vision.
So, here again, this is, Smack Science, so the first major announcement. We just have, this kind of site built out here where we can kind of look around at different views, and see how this might look, from different vantage points, but you're seeing the, kind of the masonry base here at the, administration areas, windows and offices, views out to, street. The classroom wings here, and then above you have that kind of that playful element that brings, daylight outside. So as the cars approaching, there's the pre-K, drop off, it can be one of the commons areas in there. Kind of that approach into the main, commons area, main entry. Plenty of visibility and transparency at that location, just to provide daylight views, within those kind of high activity, high volume spaces. And from the north side, again, classroom windows, a playful pattern that have views, visually to the north to the, green spaces. We don't have the interior model in this model, just the exterior, but you can see some of the transparency. There's opportunities for outdoor learning, outdoor dining, outdoor discovery, whatever it may be, right off those common spaces. On the inside.
There were windows on.
Oh, yeah. We did have one on the north side, and it's kind of northeast and southeast, so they're mostly east facing, but to your point, whether it's a film or translucent glazing or a different product that just diffuses the light, those are things you take into account.
We got the service on the far end, is there, and so for exit on the other,
Oh, on this side here?
no, on the other,
Oh, yes, right here.
no, a door in the building.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a door, yeah, yeah.
Gymnasium.
So I'm not on the
On the
other
other side, yeah, there is.
side.
Oh,
keep going. Yeah, at the very end.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's the,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, there's the access also leads to those, the swords or recess. And just from a light take, we have that.
I
Yep.
I assume so. but-
Yeah, and even just from these, this stand right here, without the hot air going for a second, just the distance to the school, yeah, about 300 to 400 feet from the building. So that's a little bit on the exterior, and then just go out the time, we'll jump to the interior. The interior model, we do not have all finishes outfitted. We just have some of the splotches of color things that we're looking at. We do have furniture to help us scale, but we just kind of want to quickly walk through some of the look and feel on this space. So, back up 1 second. Through the safe and secure entry vestibule sequence, checking in your visitor parent. That all happens there. A commons area, multi-purpose space with plenty of daylight views to the north. And then we're seeing to the right here, the media center, having access to that visually for students, kind of a focal point, if you will. And then through this space, now that space between provides a lot of activity and energy directly to the north. Looking to our west, or turning left, a playful portal. We wanted to create a portal experience, a threshold that students go to, kind of enter a different learning environment. Graphics, words, all of that is now for discussion. We just wanted to help illustrate the opportunities and possibilities. So within these learning environments, you're seeing shared environments, collaborative spaces, access to classrooms, visually and physically. You're seeing the small group rooms here. On one side, there's a lot of visual connectivity, and then an opportunity for maybe this smaller huddle or cave-like spaces where students could throw up with a book and access. So, as you mentioned before, just a lot of daylight coming in from above. We still know that there's going to be structure, there's going to be other elements up here, fire sprinklers, all that stuff. So again, this is in concept as we continue to refine and open this down.
Ask a little bit about the library. What's the square footage there planned there compared to what we have for Franklin? And how much has been set up for electronic library versus books, that type of thing, with everything changed in library science. When we built this one, finished this one 8 years ago. So I'm just kind of curious what we've changed. Don't have the direct comparison to the page and whether on AI.
Right.
This is really big part of the process to be our library for buildings with artists. High school, Franklin, all the way through, she was very active in the community. And she was really interested in so that area could be used for a variety of things, and it wasn't just a space that went unused.
Okay.
And I think that connection piece between STEAM and what the media center has to offer is really
We went through a program exercise for the volumes, space for technology, access to that STEAM studio. So that was way in the beginning of the programming phase. So I kind of said that. Now, in kind of in real life, if you will, seeing some of these environments come to fruition. So a lot of connectivities between the STEAM lab and the media center. A lot of visual connection. There can be a lot of work on display. The students are seeing that. You're seeing kind of the path through here. To our left is where the pre-K studio and their shared learning environment. A little bit kind of around this area, so there's a little bit more separation. And as we move east, we enter the smaller common space, which again has the same visual access to the exterior. And then the final learning environment or neighborhood or pod has similar types of spaces. But again, we hope to articulate those with different types of materials, textures, light fixtures, all of that stuff to help create some variety throughout the learning environment. So that's just a real quick look through kind of the center core of the building. Any questions or anything you want to look at?
Questions from the board members? What do you think about that? Look, pictures, everything.
Well, I'm waiting for the budget. That's what
I'm worried about leakage areas to all those angles.
address that, sorry. The way they're angled here, but what we do is utilize basically a roof cricket that slopes the water to these valley points, and then take that water down to the lower roof. So you're actually eliminating a lot of the high level roof drains and the piping there, and bring that down to a lower roof to reduce the number of roof penetrations from that high roof, and just utilize the slope of the roof and cricket to the water.
Would there be any interior roof drains there?
I don't know if we can do it right, not on this high roof, it's the anticipation, but having some on the lower roof, collecting those internal drains
I think
out.
we should ask Glenn what they think about the construction of the building like this. You guys have seen this a number of times now. Do you have any concerns?
Any,
I had an initial reaction around that, but I figured the concept of crickets, I don't think I'm real comfortable.
I never thought about the roof drain thing. That's a big, those, they always leak and they plug and they cause a lot of problems. So you'd rather see the pop up than a skylight.
Yeah. Certainly a net break for that. This all gap of your ability when you have the money for your pretty much will minimize that.
Is that new space and flat roof? Or is that also?
It would be flat, but they all have sloping, they have minimum slopes for your roof. So they're, I do it close because it's not like there's that for drainage. It would look flat. I don't see anywhere.
Angles and stuff. I don't know. We have flat roofs. They don't
Other questions? You ever give me a
No, not at this point.
ma'am?
I think my biggest thing, I obviously like the looks of it and the inside with all the windows, but I just wonder is it almost window overkill to kind of let the light in and just, I mean, obviously we had a ratio come through, hope that never happens again, but obviously like there's a lot of openness, which is good, but I wonder if it's too openness, I guess, or really that would be my comments, I guess, back to that, but it does look really nice. I just wonder if it turns on almost too open.
And with the stair on that. I don't know the color yet.
Shelter, ventilation, anything there.
Right now, it looks like all these rooms have glass.
There's a section in the third to the right, the bottom left deck there is open to, there is open to.
Right.
It's like left. They don't have windows to the outside, and then there's also the music room as well. And then if we look at, the media center and the art, those people don't have access. I checked with, the community, and they don't have the requirements for some of the deep fans and big bulky stuff that you're asking about. They don't have that requirement here. They just want us, they don't want us to the gym because it's the drops. So we have to use some of the material. Which we did that now. We can go to the hallway and in the bathroom. You the bathroom. You do that right now. I would also say with the light, I think that was really common from all of our stakeholders that were a part of our Green Plus community. Our kids are in school for like 7 to 8 hours a day, and in the winter, they are inside all of the time. And so I think that openness and that light was really important as we do in an Arctic network to ensure kids get that natural light and they get to see the outdoors and they're connected that way. Even though that's really good for kids, we know some of the artificial lighting is good for some kids. So that was a really big piece, I think, from all of our stakeholders that came out in each one of our feedback sessions with that openness factor, especially in early childhood. We want them to come to school and love it and be excited and not feel like they're in pain. I know glass is expensive too, so we're gonna have to look at that as well.
Okay, recommendation made, everyone. Even any questions? Okay, now for the bad news. I believe we have the officials in line. Okay, now.
So as part of this package, we did provide, language, some preliminary drawings. And we have, floor plans, site plans, some general elevations, and as you can see, we're in a snack stage of what it looks like. There's really a lot of, the rendering is rendering, but there's still a lot of development, a lot of coordination for our team. This is the first of the 3 major phases of time. So, at this point in time, we, provided drawings, take a look at those and just kind of preliminary budget summary. So you can see, typically it's broken out by specification section. You can see the various levels of detail that are shown within the various scopes of the project. But again, a lot of these, correct me if I'm wrong, are based on historical information as well as the square footage of the building and then the elevation as well. There is a contingency within this number that accounts for things that are unknown yet. Right now, a 5% contingency, which some of that will be utilized because there may be unknowns within the building right now. Some of it may not be utilized. So with the various scope items right now, construction total is right around 21.8 million. And so this budget number here, conceptual estimate, gives to the kind of roll up, which shows construction expenses as well as professional fees, surveys, wetland mitigation, all those types of things that are part of a project that are not part of the construction project. Printing and location fees, and then construction contingencies. We're seeing about 25.48 million on a total project expense. That's hard costs, the cost of construction, and there is soft costs. And as I mentioned before, we're at an early phase of design where we're still working through the scope. We're still defining things and getting more and more information. So that's where we're at.
This, we never got.
Right. We didn't get
so-
this till
so
today,
When
yeah.
when I had ended at 21, 787. These like.
Yeah.
Right,
So yeah, this is construction, and as a design process is to go down, right? So we're trying to take this way further, put it into a fine line, and get to the end. So these numbers are fresh and new. We've provided drawings in short order. The client's done a great job getting numbers pulled together for that. But again, there's still unknowns. There's still questions about finer detail of things. But this is one point in the overall project.
What do you think the Storm Lake project will end up being total?
Total, when I bid, that was December 2019. Yeah, that was around 232 a square foot. But that also can have a lot of the, what we're seeing in fire there, the inflation that we're seeing in the market today. A lot of unknowns, and we're seeing a lot of plus continue to rise. Lumber seems to have leveled off for a moment, but we don't know what will happen.
Where are we at a square foot?
Where are we at right now?
Now.
Two cents,
Mhm.
which is probably a little on the conservative side, but as Andrew explained, we've been working on these drawings that he shared tonight for about, and obviously there's not enough specificity there to take to the street now. Contractor bid, so we just wanted to take off that square footage analysis based on historical data from other similar projects. Talk to them a little bit about the project.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Des Moines Metro, a project bid about 60 days ago or 30 days ago, that came in at 246 a square foot. And so that's probably our most recent actual hard bid cost data that we have. 246, and that was for 190,000 square foot building, two-story school. So there's a little bit more order of magnitude there. This is larger.
Is that elementary school?
It was a middle school.
Middle
So a
school.
little bit more infrastructure and things like that was signed, but the market's different. Hard to figure.
Hey, Robert, there's around $10 million materials. Just kind of averaging where material prices, I mean, some stuff's up 300%. We figure, certainly 25, 30%. You know, there's probably $3 million in material escalation in this number that a year ago, obviously, wasn't there. Where that will go. Correct. Yeah. Where that goes in 6 months, I don't think anyone can stay here. I think it's safe to say it's going to cover some. Nobody knows more. Right? Yep. Okay, you know,
When's our projected bid letter?
7th.
What's that?
December 7th.
So we're gonna issue drawings out in November, and then bid will be. So we can get time to get that.
We'll be competitive, and the labor's never gonna come back down. The labor's inflated too, but that's never gonna change. Hopefully, we can recoup a couple $1 million on material, but we don't know, but 270 something a square foot is probably a pretty hefty, contingency in there over what it will likely be. I hope.
There's a lot of assumptions that went into that number. We were fine, and said, be able to hold that. Start taking some other trade mechanical electrical guys kind of help open the budget and see what we're really on. We have almost a third of the budget mechanical electrical. And in 5 weeks, five weeks or so, we'll be, assuming we proceed on to the design development phase, we'll be going through that detail estimate process. And, soliciting input from trade sector.
Each phase of design, we go down and look at estimates on where we're at. So this is the first
Is we have thought, after farmers and all the talk, we're building this for some students right now, but we talked about having room to expand. Now, as I look at your building diagrams, that are pretty positive. Would one look at expanding west or east of those, or would you look at going more? And what are your initial thoughts, recognizing the 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, or whatever? Information.
Yep, initially, that's a good question. Initially, we're thinking off to the west here. And part of that is that the main entrance is centrally located between the two. And you do still have the opportunity to add on to the however, talking about the team, it makes sense to at least plan for the west side. And that would require some work on the access lane and maybe shift the field, but that is a part of this here's the electrical load on the take on, X number of square feet.
When you do this kind of building out of precast concrete or CMU or what?
Right now, and that's a good question. So precast is a long time right now. Steel, well, prices are inflated. Steel still seems to be the most economical approach right now. Some areas of the building, for example, the kitchen or gymnasium may want to be out of masonry just from the durability standpoint. But right now, our anticipation is steel, frame. With the brick exterior facade, yeah.
And then all is pretty efficient.
So,
So,
Any other questions from board members or any?
Yeah, how are we looking on the pre-construction?
yeah, I can get to the, get to the schedule here. So we are here tonight, the Mac design review, and we'll, assuming everything's okay, we'll continue into the design development phase. And we have a series of meetings, we'll use group meetings, systems meetings, to continue to refine the scope. And as Wayne mentioned, we're going to provide additional drawings, more detailed drawings. Look to have design development go in front of the board in September. But in the interim, here what we're working towards currently is a pre-grading package. So we plan to issue those out on August 17th, which means that your August 9th board meeting will have to establish a date public hearing for those to go out. And then there'll be a time of bidding. Bid opening will happen in September, and then approving of contracts in September, and then start pre-grading work. So that is still on track, assuming United can continue forward with this schedule. And then as we mentioned just a moment ago, the building itself would be issued out in November with opening bids in December.
Questions with regards to the Andrew, this team has done a lot of work. Short amount of time, but
Basically, between now and the next board meeting, but we got about 10 meetings scheduled.
Before we get to our September,
No, we're gonna do the August one. August one meeting.
In regular
for
board
the
meeting.
pre-grading time. Yep.
And any other questions from the administration?
We have more work to do.
Looks good, it's exciting to see this project finally come to fruition. 2 years from now, we'll plan to open ceremony. Okay, thank you very much for being here tonight with the board meeting. Appreciate it.
I think they need official approval so they can say that they can go the next step. Just approval that we're okay with them continuing. Unless that's not the case, then by all means, this is when you do it. Yeah.
The review tonight, approval for us to proceed with the
I move to approve, the next steps as outlined by DLR, moving on with the design development, construction document.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Pritchard, seconded by Mr. Stephen to offer DLR to proceed to the next step. Before next month. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion is passed unanimously, and we'll look forward to your presentation next month. Thank you.
Very much.
Next, professional development.
Dr. James, I'm gonna go ahead and let you walk them through our PD plan, if that's okay.
wanted to, I can't get my airtime over. It's spinning.
We're going to come up here so we can restart.
Yeah.
I guess they shouldn't have had to move it because now she's
Yeah.
out there.
We wheeled up here if you want.
So why don't you sit between Jeremy
And me.
Because,
Right next to the mic.
Oh, I get to be right by the mic. Great.
Yeah, good. Okay. We have a chair.
Which are we doing here?
Everything works so far.
Great.
Sometimes the sound's not coming out, but I'll get some more cuts. It helped that we put a puck up there, so.
Okay.
I just want to jump on this airplane, but if I can't do it, you all have the link to that, correct? Okay, I'll just walk through that, because I don't seem to have to do it. That's okay. The administrative team here and all of our teachers in instructional coach roles met on June 9th. School was officially done on June 8th, and they all returned on June 9th for a full day of taking all kinds of feedback and data that we've had from our teachers and support staff who completed our Marzano high reliability schools surveys in the spring, and they kind of poured over that feedback to look and see kind of what was our status as a district in accordance with that high reliability school framework, and what did each building kind of need to continue to move us forward with that. So after they had actually Julie and I met with each of the administrators and their instructional coaches in the last 2 weeks of school to look at just their individual building level data. And then we had kind of, spoiler, we had already seen all the data for all the different buildings, but then we had the coaches and the administrators review all that data together to kind of see what are the things that each building individually needs to move their staff forward, and then what are the things that, these are things across the district that we need to work on as a whole district to continue to move us forward. And that process, I think, was really helpful for creating this plan that we bring to you today. That really focuses in on, we know we want to continue to use that framework and adopt that framework to help with our school improvement processes, but also give each individual building the freedom that they need to address what's most important in their own context. And so really the focus that came out of the survey, the feedback from our staff, and then that work with our administrative team and coaching team is that our focus would put a district focus on social emotional learning and safe schools at that high reliability schools level 1, with the district providing support and alignment through support with AEA to dig into social emotional learning standards and really unpack those vertically. We have pockets of things happening to support all of our kids, but we maybe have a place to improve at really doing that succinctly across the district. So we want to give district-wide support to vertically look at those social emotional learning standards and what does that look like at each level? How can we continue to improve as a district in that area? And then level 2 of the high reliability schools framework looks at instruction and effective teaching. And so we have had instructional coaches and some teachers, many that are in mentoring roles, do a training earlier this spring on the Marzano instructional framework. And then that team really did some good planning on what does that look like to get all of our teachers using common language about our instruction. How do we adopt those processes? So each building is going to be doing some work in that area, and that becomes a major focus of us with our teachers in their individual professional goal setting too, so that each teacher can individualize their learning as well as providing learning as a whole building and district around that framework. And then we want to continue our work with collaborative teaming and just continue to put that focus on that PLC collaborative team, because so much professional learning happens in those smaller collaborative teams. And so overall, then the plan before you, each building created a document. It was I feel like they have a better plan than they often have at this point in the summer, really looking at these are the dates and these are the times that we have, and how do we really intentionally use those aligned to our district goals and some drafts of building goals and those needs that came out in that survey. So the first 4 days in August really do focus on that high reliability schools. Each building has kind of set aside time to make sure that they have a chance to address their survey data and start where their data kind of indicated, as well as they set aside time for Julie and I to go around and help do a kind of a district presentation to kick off our use of the instructional framework and some of those pieces that we felt as a district that we wanted to make sure we built capacity all together. And then on our full days of professional learning, we're still working with those outside providers that are going to help us with some of those district-wide pieces, but we set aside time so that each building has half of those days to address the things that they need to on full days. And then we also make sure that we have time to build that capacity as a district with that HRS level 1 with social emotional learning and some other things that we just feel like are key pieces that maybe have like our emergency and crisis training. There's some things that in the last 2 years with a little bit of chaos we need to revisit, and we just want to make sure we set time aside to address those in that level 1 with stage 4. And then like I said, each building has kind of a plan for how they're going to address levels 1 and 2 and the things that they need to do with the time they have set aside. What questions do you have? Felt like I rolled really fast there.
Appreciate you being on the call. The survey results were higher level. I don't know if the board.
Okay. Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know.
We can bring that.
See those or maybe doing here.
Sure. Most of it shared with our staff. We felt it was really important to share them with staff. And so we really did leverage those. And that, I thought was the other thing I should have brought to you tonight was those 2 days that we had June 7th and 8th. We really did leverage those days to say, how can we kick off some things for next year? So some buildings were able to use that time to dig in and take a look at their data together as a building and set some things in motion for next year already. Others, we had some training set up in math and some stuff with science, and so they weren't necessarily able to dig into their data yet, but they had plans for how they're going to share that data with them in those first days back in August. So we felt it's really important that our staff see their results of their surveys too, and not all of them have had the chance.
Not all of them have done that yet.
Certainly.
Absolutely. Where we are.
Absolutely. Yep. Not a problem at all. Yep. But, yeah, we have no problem doing that.
Anything else? We are just really, really excited to put a focus back on some of the pieces in the learning and support for our teachers that we felt like this last year. The thing our teachers needed most was just time, and everybody I think is renewed with this thought of learning and growing again and starting to move forward instead of wondering where we are. So we look forward to next year for sure.
Any questions, board members? Hearing none, I have a motion to approve the adult. Is there a second? Second. Okay, it's been moved by Dr. Nyson, seconded by Mr. Pritchard to approve the professional development plan as presented by Mr. James. Any further questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes unanimously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It does say draft, you know.
I don't know if it can.
It'll be a
Wait
state
till I
training or
get to
something
it.
that has to happen.
We'll see. Hold on.
Building
It's not, hold on.
handbooks, Mr. Chief,
How do you,
want to, yes, let's let each Rich will give us a 30 seconds, 1 minute synopsis of any major changes from last year. And in order to be kind, let's start with Ms. Fellas. We're going to go up instead of down this year.
I like it.
Next year,
I did not have very many changes, so you'll see chief employee, preschool employee, and pages and kindergarten. Not very many changes. I took out some of the things that have been added for COVID. We very much restricted building access and doors that kids had to go in. We kept some things that went well, like a soft landing. Our kids really missed recess before school. That was in the week before, and so our leadership was talking recess before school again, let them socialize and burn energy, so we included that back in. The only other big change is that we're going to try to stagger busing between Ks and weekend. So we noticed their start times is staggered 5 minutes. We're hoping that means kids idle less time, affecting your supervision less time, kids less waiting for the bus less time, just all of those things. So that's what will be really, that's kind of the only change. We just updated all of our summer times. That's really dictated by DHS, especially the employee handbook, and the same thing with the preschool handbook. That's really dictated by the SVP grant. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's it.
I think we left a disclaimer if there
We
were
did.
something with COVID that
Yes.
came back, that we have some flexibility. So that's still, I
Yeah,
think, in
we
all our
did leave
handbooks in
that.
some capacity, so.
We all know it's legislation.
And then one, I have this question now. Is lunch approved for the entire school year? Do we know yet?
It is.
Okay, so I did update that for you, so I guess all the lunch and breakfast would be provided, and I clarified that health will be not covered, that's always a big topic.
Okay. And Mr. Winter?
I'm saying I updated frequency for everything last year, so okay. There's a couple things. So we weren't quite sure about lunchtime yet. So checked in there what we had from before, and now that I'm sure that I probably also the same thing with lunch prices, so I'll go and do that. But other than that, it's we're same, we have same start and end time.
Okay. Sounds good. Mr. Keller?
Ditto, same thing, we really revamped last year, so we've updated all our staff. We kept separate our return card and stuff, like the door entrances where they were coming in and out. So we didn't have to fill it out this year, so we left the exceptions in there. If we would have to make some changes for COVID, we're gonna keep some things like our start time and 11 in the building, our staggered release time at the end of the day, some things we really like.
Okay.
Pretty awesome.
Okay. Mr. Johnson?
So the second link up there are our changes to the handbook this year. Because of COVID and hallway congestion, we did not issue lockers to all students automatically. So we're going to keep that policy. Lockers will be issued on request, which will make sure to redirect students to the first day of school. Passes, when students arrive 20 minutes late or less, they're going to sign in on a sheet and go straight to class. That's to alleviate congestion in the front office with students showing up a few minutes late to class waiting for a pass. We have continued to update our grading for learning handbook with our SRT committee, so that's a link in there that will continue to be live. But we wanted it linked in our student handbook to make it accessible. We clarified online learning language because we didn't want it to seem like we were talking about online learning due to COVID, but instead online learning opportunities. Tardies, we amended that teacher interventions will include a contact home with 1 to 4, depending on teacher discretion, tardies to the classroom before an administrative intervention with parties. And then we put our drills in there in the amount we do each semester.
Okay, thank you very much. Board members, questions, concerns that you found that caught your attention?
I thought that the explanation on grading. Where people said was.
I'd like to thank you for one person who does not have corrections or additions.
I'm an English guy, so I went through it.
Yeah.
And for those who could not hear the administrator's report, basically there's very few changes. Mr. Winters is going to be modifying the lunchroom prices, so that probably changing. And otherwise, there's not been a whole lot of major changes. Anything else, or else I'll entertain a motion to accept all of the handbooks in one motion.
Move to approve the updated handbook.
Okay, moved by Mr. Pritchard, seconded by Mr. Elfin, to approve the updated handbooks. Any other questions? Okay,
Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Board goals.
So last time when we had our work session, we talked about our goals from last year and then talked about how we could modify them to fit this year. So I'm hoping that I captured our conversation. So you'll notice under student achievement, we said we were going to maintain the same main goal area, but further delineate the high reliability schools levels so that it was clear, you know, what each of those levels were. And I see a neg, I'm going to just correct it right now. So that regardless where a building might be with regard to those levels, it's clear that it's still part of the district goals, because as Dr. Janes explained, one building may be focused on level 2, more than one building might be focused on level 1. So we have all 4 levels that we're focusing on right now as a district at a variety of capacities. And then we maintain the portrait of a graduate because that was something that we were working on last year that needed to be continued. For the family engagement, I simply altered the district, the second community engagement. I think we had specifically stated city, and I changed it to district and community stakeholders because that includes everyone. There would be stakeholders with regard to the portrait of graduate, as well as our two-way communication. And then facilities, budget management, try to incorporate the projects that we've been discussing into next year. So in general, just continuing with our district-wide facilities upgrades and replacement, meaning replacing Page and Lincoln with a new building while maintaining a positive fiscal position, and then delineating that out into the 2 main projects as well as the budget management piece. So that is what I took from our work session. So if there's anything that we need to alter based on the work session, that's what I took away from our conversation.
Board members, you got to look this weekend, comments, concerns, or are you happy with these goals?
Yeah, it's got the other so nicely with the
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Stevens, seconded by Dr. Nystrom to approve the board goals as presented. Any other comments? Otherwise, I believe this can just be a voice vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Board schedule for 2021, 2022.
So you'll see we have the proposed board schedule with our goal curriculum meeting work session date being October 25th and the annual goal review meeting being April 18th. The budget meeting, I missed that one. Budget meeting on February 21st, as you can see, and goal and curriculum in January. So we've got 4 work sessions in there and the rest are regular board meetings. Those are the dates that we would typically do.
My question is March 14th. I did have access to look at the calendar for this coming year. That was spring break now.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Falls into spring break.
And we changed it. Yeah, I didn't, you know what? I didn't even look at that.
21st.
Does someone have that
Hold
in
on.
front of them? It is on spring break.
We can
So
go
maybe we
that.
need to
You can go
change
there and
that.
write it, can't you?
It's usually spring break.
Oh, I think it.
Okay, so let's change it now.
Spring
What day?
break is 14th. So you want it the 7th or the 21st?
7th or 21st, either one of them is going to be a city council meeting on both of those dates. So.
You have a preference? So do 21st. Again,
This, so,
Hopefully there will not be as many emergencies.
so we changed it to the 21st. Now it should all reflect the right dates. Are those looking?
Any other
Dates that
questions,
work.
board members, the dates that are going out around now, I believe, if we do Monday, November
well, that's a month.
is that can have, we can have. the election certified
We would have
by
the
then,
election. right?
Or we have to do that 15th, because the election will be on the 2nd,
Mhm. We
however,
won't be able to certify
will
by
not be
that time.
certified until the, yeah,
Right,
and so technically what we oftentimes do is move that one to November 15th.
so we can
That is
certify the
third.
results.
So you do
Either
both.
that or we have a special board meeting.
We either do that or do a special board meeting, so we either change it or do a special. board
Traditionally,
meeting.
just move it back to that.
Okay,
This year we have a, I don't know what we did this year. Last one, November 15th.
Still gives 4 weeks in between the November, December meetings, 5 weeks in between the October, November. On the other hand, we have a work session between there that we, if we need to vote on something, have something pressing, add on to the agenda at that time.
This is a stretch. We might have to have something in February and March. Hopefully not, but
Again, this is a, I've been serving on the board for 8 years. I will check it.
for any of those dates
Board
we
meeting
had to do
sometime,
for
we got to
project.
change the,
no, you wouldn't say that.
agenda items coming out for board members that have something else that we have to do 1 week or the other. We haven't done it quite as much.
I understand that.
Here's our changes to the board members. But we got to change something to the code. Okay. Any other questions, concerns? I'm here, a motion approved. Is there a second? We get a second. Great, moved by Dr. Dyson, seconded by Mr. Pritchard to approve the board meeting schedule as modified just now. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the IASB legislative resolution.
So I think last time we had talked about having an opportunity to look through them yourselves and coming up with like 4 that you thought would be good and see if we can come to consensus on the 4 that we want. So I don't know how you want to go about doing that. Dr.
Gonna read
Morales,
off all your favorites.
I got one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said one.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. Sorry, I can,
It's like the
I have,
legislation resolutions.
You want this one?
I bought one.
we have to have 4, yes. Problem in the past year, the school board association, IASB, was given a numbered form.
I
It
know.
was so much easier. I was not pleased with the way it was presented this time.
Yeah,
Which made things worse. I found that
tracking numbers was the worst part because it's numbers.
The other one? You want me to look at the other one? The summaries? This one? Is that the one you're talking about?
Education.
These are the bill summaries and then these are the priorities.
This is what they normally send out.
Yeah.
It's just not
Yes, ma'am.
numbered.
Yeah, it's just not numbered. Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that'd be easier.
Yeah. Matt?
Initially.
First one I had was the mental health. Preschool. Standards and accountability. School funding policy.
Gary?
Early literacy, mental health, teacher leadership and development. Local accountability and decision making.
Yeah.
Well, under governance, school funding, educational.
Teacher leadership and development.
Yeah, teacher leadership and development.
I've had leadership and development. Teacher, funding. Accountability and decision.
I also had local control and accountability. I think that one's on our list. And then I had something on state aid for state funding, which is basically what I heard over. Yeah, they broke it down a little bit more. And then I had mental health, given coming off COVID this past year. And I still have mental health, you know, we did do some with mental health this past year. I'm not sure that it was enough. And then, as far as education, I also like to talk about market competitive rates. Thought that was key, especially in some of our areas where we get up a little bit more competitive with this situation.
So it looks like we got teacher leadership and development, local control, school funding, mental health, and then local control. Someone was saying what?
That's 4.
Yeah, I gotta find the 5th one. Everything else is singles.
Everything else. Did we need 5? I thought we needed 4.
Need 5, right?
I thought we needed 4. Didn't we need 4 or 5? I thought we needed 4. Yeah.
Okay.
So
4 it
read them
is.
again, make sure everyone's okay.
Teacher
with those
leadership
4.
and development, local decision and control, school funding, and mental health. Okay. Motion to approve those.
So is there a motion to approve those four? A second. Okay, it's moved by Ms. Stevens, seconded by Mr. Elfin, to approve the 4 policy priorities.
That is presented by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So what happens now, for those of you listening, Mr. Trooper, correct me if I'm wrong, these go back to a committee, the Iowa Association of School Boards, the lobbying committee, and they'll validate the efforts, and they'll be presented to the delegates meeting in November, where we will have one delegate at the delegates from every school district in the state, and they will vote and finalize these priorities.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So moving on, the Imagine Possibilities.
So we contract with Imagine the Possibilities for student transition services and special education. The cost for the service will be lower for next year for $31,450. So I recommend approval that we continue that contract.
And this is the old Genesis project. Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved by Dr. Nystrom, seconded by Mr. Alpha, to approve the contract as presented to Imagine Possibilities. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Next is the contract with Info Architectural Engineering.
The recommended contracts are on your agenda for the HVAC updates contract, gym updates contract, and futures and HSAP building contract for Tenfold Architecture plus engineering. And I would recommend approval.
And this is the former HALA.
The former HALA.
We talked about that. Questions, concerns? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve these three contracts?
Move to approve the contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Pritchett, seconded by Dr. Nystrom to approve these three contracts as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the Train Tracer control system upgrade.
So this is an upgrade to get all of our systems on the same system. We have different systems. And so this is just upgrading middle school to be on the same system we have in the rest of the district. So that would be what this upgrade is for. And it was part of our facilities planning from the beginning. So it's just a matter of following through with our plans on the facilities as part of our facilities plan.
This is already budgeted for.
It was already budgeted for.
Temple Fund.
Yep.
And it's exempt from getting multiple prices.
Because it's exclusive to the train. Yep.
We did Franklin, I think in June, May or June this year. So this is just doing middle school.
Any questions, concerns about this proposal? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Train Tracer control system upgrade.
Motion to approve the control system for the middle school.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved by Mr. Pritchett, seconded by Dr. Nystrom to approve the Train Tracer on control system upgrade at the middle school. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The 403 board policies, this is the second reading. We approved the first reading
Last month's meeting, most of the changes were stuff that were made by the IASB.
Correct.
Some with upgrades that we.
The upgrades, as well as we eliminated some of the policies that were repetitive so that it was clearer for people to understand. So that, yeah, it is the second reading.
Okay. Yeah. Any comments, concerns? Want to hear any comments from the public? Anything? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve policy. Is there a second? Second. Been moved by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Mr. Pritchard, to approve 430 board policy. Reading number 2. Any no further comment, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, superintendent's report.
So I want to just remind everyone that we have our bond sale this Wednesday at noon. So it's our special board meeting. So just don't forget that's Wednesday at noon. It's virtual, but you can come if you.
Be in the conference room if
in
you
the
want to come.
conference room if you want to come in person. So noon on Wednesday for the bond sale.
Yep. I'm not. I'll do it tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then staffing update just from the teaching staff, we are one away from being fully staffed. So we have a special education teacher still opening at the high school for Strat 1. So that is the only one that we have left for teachers. And going into the next item with the job fair for any of our classified staff, we had talked previously about trying to get a job fair for our district for like substitute bus drivers, substitute kitchen, having opportunities for associates to apply. And so we are going to do a district job fair on July 28th from 3 to 6 at the middle school. And we will be advertising that in the near future. So if you have friends or neighbors that have an interest in working for the district in that capacity, we will have a job fair for people to come and have some face-to-face time with our administrative team and connect on those opportunities. Online registration, all of our parents should receive that email tomorrow. If you do not currently have a portal set up, you'll receive an email with instructions on how to set that up. Otherwise, you'll receive the email saying how you can do online registration. We need every family in our district to do the registration. Even if you've been going to Boone for the last 10 years, we need registration from every family. So when you receive that email, please click on the link and do the online registration. We've done some trial online registration and it seemed to go pretty smoothly. So we hope that our constituents have the same experience that some of our trial members had as well. So online registration starting tomorrow. And then I had expressed to the board that we might need to have a board work session just about projects, not anything with action items, but wondering if we want to do a board work session before the next August meeting and wondering if you had a date and time or dates and times you wanted us to explore for that. So that was my only other thing I wanted to ask, if there is a date or a time. Otherwise, we can wait, but I think it'd be good for us to have further conversations. Our facilities projects, just work session. No action items. Just one board work session, just discuss facilities. So sometime before the next August meeting, I think would be good.
How far before the meeting you want to go? Want to put it sooner, so more put the architect, and we want to put it a little bit later. The architect wanting to have all the information before. So I guess part of that question I have to ask the board gentleman over here. What do you think would be better for us to meet? Do you think it would be close to that board meeting? I mean, first Monday night, and Monday afternoon in August, or would it be better to go the last Monday in July, as far as it's more helpful for people? Or it doesn't matter?
You're right.
Think on it, because we can also coordinate with that. Like pre-grade. Okay. Pre-grade package.
So therefore, August 2nd. With that, most people will be 5:30 on August 2nd. Yes. Monday. Okay. So we'll set that as a preliminary date. You don't need a motion for that or anything.
I just want to be able to set the date so we can send that out to everyone, so we know when the board work session will be. That's all. That's all I have.
Okay.
Question, I guess, one position may have to fill, if we had applications for that position.
We are,
Yeah,
Kind of,
I mean,
yes. We're
we
working
just
on it.
reopened it.
Yes.
We're recruiting as well as.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? Or doing? Otherwise, that ends our regular board meeting, we've got a closed session afterwards. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules, and those of you listening online, thank you. And we'll be back in next week, the August 9th.